Hello. Hello, Jasmine. Oh, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me. Afternoon, Lynn. Hello, Jasmine. Hello. Oh, glasses on. Hello. Hello, Ali Linley. Thank you for joining me, everyone. It's lovely to see you. Just realised that my specs are absolutely disgusting, everything. So I'm going to have to clean them because it's just really not nice, is it? Well, I should have been prepared beforehand, but I wasn't. So, hello, Lily. I'm really well today, Jasmine. Thank you. How are you doing? How's everyone managing in this heat? Do you have any good tips that you can share with us to keep nice and cool? If you're not in the UK, if you're joining us from maybe from the States or Canada or Europe or somewhere else, you're probably looking at us all in the UK thinking, what are you all worried about? It's not that hot, but it is for us. We're not used to this heat, and our homes are not really built for hot weather. So we're all sweltering a bit, and it's all a bit of a big thing for us, isn't it? So I've got icy water with some lemon in, and I've got a spray here, which look like and that sprays my face and cools me down. Let's have a look. Oh, it was Tilly. It wasn't Lily. I'm sorry, I didn't have my glasses on. So you're welcome, everyone. It's really nice to have you there. Oh, Lynn, you've got air conditioning. Oh, you're so lucky. I'm in my house. It's cooler in my house than it is outside, so that's quite nice. Oh, I bet that is bliss, Lynn. Yeah. Oh dear, Jasmine, you've been on a 20-mile drive. 20 miles there and 20 miles back. That must have been hard. Oh, well, I'm very grateful that you're here and helping me. Thank you. The elderberry, it is so hot. Well, let's have a look. I can see some really good tips here. So Tilly 2504 says bowl of cold water in front of a fan. That's a good one. I saw that, and I saw as well if you get like an old milk bottle and you put it in the freezer so it freezes, and then you put that in front of the fan, or anything, even just a glass with some ice, then it cools the air as the fan blows. So thank you, Tilly, for that. That's a good idea. Ildilbly. Sorry if I get your name wrong. Looking good today, Sarah. Hope you're enjoying the sun. Well, thank you very much. I was thinking I was looking a bit sweaty and not so great, but thank you. I appreciate your kindness. I love the hot weather, but I think even for me, it's very, very hot. But I'm just staying in my house. Went for a lovely walk this morning, and it was really nice through the woods. Quite a nice cool breeze. So welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. It's happy butterfly. You're new here. Well, welcome. It is so lovely to have you here. You're very welcome here. Ellie Berry says it's hit 40 degrees. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm not surprised. I think it probably has. Oh, thank you, Tilly. You're very nice. You're very nice. Okay. So let me explain. So especially if you're new here, so I'm Sarah and I'm a therapist. I'm a cognitive hypnotherapist, and I mostly work with people who are suffering from anxiety, from low mood, depression, from fears, just feeling that life isn't quite right for them. And I work mostly online. I also do some face-to-face work, but that's very limited periods of time that I do that. So I'm based in the UK, and I do these lives, and my TikTok page is all about just trying to help, trying to give a bit of advice, a little bit of information about what anxiety is and how you can help yourself. And I'm really, really happy to answer any questions that you might have. I can't answer every single question because usually there's quite a lot of people that come on here, but I absolutely do my best. And if your question doesn't get answered, it doesn't mean that I'm not, that it doesn't mean that I'm ignoring you. It just means that I haven't seen it, because without my glasses on, everything is a blur. So I need glasses for reading, and so I can, anyway, that doesn't matter. But so email me. If I don't answer your question, then please email me. My email address is sarah@saraheris.com, and it's on all my social media. It's easy to find. You can see my name on that little thing there. I should really maybe put my email address on there. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it, next time? So then I'm also joined by, I have moderators here who are just volunteered to help me, and they're absolutely amazing. So today, so far I've seen, we've got Lynn 250 and Jasmine Lake, who give up their time so kindly twice a week to come and help, and just to keep this a safe space, because sometimes people turn up who are maybe not as kind as the rest of us, and there's no tolerance of any unkindness, any rudeness, no offensive words. It's just that you're muted or blocked immediately. This is not the space for you. This is a space for kind people, and over the time that we've been doing this, there's a lovely community that's been created, and I see people chatting with each other on my page in the comments, but also during these lives, and that's lovely. So you're all really welcome here, and I'll do my best to help in the best way that I can. So let me have a little look. So the Ellie-berry, you're first in with a question. So what techniques would you give to an emetophobic? I have it really bad and I don't know how to control. So that's such a good question. And emetophobia is when you have a fear, a phobia of either being sick or people around you being sick. And it can really limit your life, because every feeling that you get is you can be thinking to yourself, oh, am I going to be sick? Does this mean I'm going to be sick? What does that mean? What's going to happen to me? Or you can be looking around at other people and thinking, oh, they're looking like they're not feeling too good. And this is generally born of an experience that you will have had at some point that will have taught your nervous system that this is a threat to you, that it's a danger. And it's a really horrible thing to have. So I feel for you, Ellie. It's hard, and I would say that it's important to get help for it. Important to go and see someone. I think cognitive hypnotherapy is really helpful with this sort of thing. You could also go and see a traditional hypnotherapist, as long as you get someone that you really trust and that you click with. And there are other therapies out there as well. But the most important thing is that you go and get help, because dealing with it on your own, you're looking at it from one point of view. And obviously you know most about it, you know what's happening to you more than anyone else does. But once you start to work with someone else who perhaps has experience of what techniques, what methods to use to help you, then you get another perspective of what's happening for you, and they can help you with coping techniques for the anxiety that you feel around it, but also they can help you go back and work out, where has this come from? Because quite often it will have come from an experience in your past, and it's about reframing that, because perhaps it happened when you were really young and it seemed really scary and really horrible. It may well be that you've never been sick. A lot of people with emetophobia have never actually been sick, or if they were, then it was a really, really long time ago. And that can be the thing, because I had a lady the other day, I mentioned on my last live, that she'd had emetophobia all of her life, and she got a stomach bug, and it was her worst nightmare, but she was sick, and she just realised, oh my goodness, it's okay. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And the emetophobia was, I'm not sure if it was completely gone, but it certainly was diminished massively. So on my page, there are lots and lots of coping techniques, lots of information. So I would say look at those, do as best you can to help yourself, but do go and see someone and see if they can help you. I hope that helps a little bit. Let's have a look. Answer some more questions. If you are watching this and you think, oh, it's too hot, I can't be scrolling through my phone watching this, then don't worry, you don't need to watch the whole thing. I shouldn't say this, TikTok will hate me for it, but actually I upload them to my YouTube channel, so you can actually watch them another time. There's all of them are on there that I've done for the last little while anyway, so you can go and have a look there if you fancy. Alexandra, so Sarah Quelasandra, you were on my page earlier. I'm so glad you're here. I saw that you'd registered, and that's absolutely brilliant. Welcome. I feel really lonely. I don't have anyone I could talk, like, even about normal things. It's so hard, isn't it? I really feel for you when you have that sense of being so alone. And I think the thing about loneliness is it's about the quality of the relationships we have with people, because we can be surrounded by people, can't we, and feel exactly as you do, Alexandra, that it's very hard to actually speak to them about the stuff that really matters to us. So I suppose it's about I always say this, but I think it can be really helpful to seek out the help of a therapist who can help you with building those relationships. It's also helpful to have a look around and maybe take a leap of faith and talk to, if you look at the people that you know, the people around you, and if there's anyone that you think, I possibly could talk to you, to begin to put out sort of feelers there. And if there's no one that you feel that way about, then places like the Samaritans, places like charities that have helplines can be hugely helpful, because the people that man those helplines are really nice, kind people, and they are there to help you in the best way they can, and they can spend longer with you than perhaps I can on this particular live. But it's something that it's really important that we have that human connection, isn't it? So I'm really glad that you're here, and hopefully by being part of this community, it can begin to help you to be able to build the confidence to reach out. So do come again, and it's lovely to have you here. So Nikia Akon, I'm sorry if I get your name wrong. My panic attacks are triggered by heat, so struggling to cope in this weather. Well, I do feel for you. It's really difficult, isn't it, when you have a situation like this. I would say that panic attacks, they are temporary. They're not going to be with you they're not going to be with you forever, long term. You can work on things to help yourself in that sense, but also a panic attack is finite, so it doesn't go on and on forever. It has to reach a peak, and then you come out the other side. And if the heat is triggering you, then all I can suggest is to help yourself as best you can with the heat in the ways that we were mentioning before. Having a fan, having a bowl of cold water, that the fan blows over the cold water, or a bottle of frozen water. Having a spray, like I've got this little spray, which if you just spray like cold water on your face, it helps just for a moment. I don't know if that would be helpful for you, but I think if you look online at the moment, there's lots of tips on how to keep cool, and also the techniques that I share on my page, the coping techniques, can be really helpful, such as breathing techniques. It's just a case of slowing down. When I was 18, I went out to Africa for a period of time, and then again when I was in my late 20s. And I don't know if any of you are from hot countries, but it's a slower pace of life. Everything's just slower, not feeling that you have to really hurry to get things done as best you can. So I hope that helps a little bit. Let's have a look. Oh, thank you, Neat Speak. You shared the live. I really appreciate that. Yeah. World of Graham says a panic attack is scary but no lasting effect, and that's hard to remember, isn't it? When you're in there, when you're experiencing a panic attack, they're really horrible things, and so it's that balance, isn't it? I think when you come out or before you go, you know cognitively. That's the thing with anxiety, is that we know rationally that it's going to be all right and that there's no real danger most of the time, but our brains don't think clearly when we're in the moment, and so it's real. The feelings that we feel, the feelings we feel, the emotions we feel, the fear we feel is absolutely real in that moment. So I think that's something to remember, and that's why the coping techniques that I share on my page are very physical techniques, because in the moment when you're in a panic attack or an anxiety attack, if you're feeling anxious, thinking about it is not going to really help you. It's much more about slowing your breath, longer out breaths. So, oh, that's a really good one. Georgina Stone says ice cubes to the wrists and forehead. Yes, or running your. In my younger days, when I used to go clubbing, I used to go to the loos and run my pulse points on my wrists underneath cold tap for a bit, and that can help for a little bit. So thank you everyone for joining me. I really appreciate you being here on a hot day, so thank you. I was saying, I'm Sarah, I'm a therapist, do my best to answer as many questions as I can. I have moderators here who are helping me keep this a nice safe space, and you're all so welcome. If I don't answer your questions, just because there are lots of them and I try and cover as many as I can, do feel free to email me if you would like to get your question answered privately. Let's have a look. Advice. So Rebecca Bianchio for advice on waking up with anxiety. That's a really good question, and that's something I think a lot of people experience, waking up with anxiety. I suppose there's a couple of things there that when we wake up, we get a little burst of cortisol, which is one of the stress hormones, and that's one of the things that helps us to wake up and meet the day. But because it's a stress hormone, if your levels of stress hormones are quite high over time anyway, then having a little burst of it is enough to make you feel, just feel a bit anxious. And also you're coming out of, hopefully you've had a reasonable sleep and you feel quite relaxed, and then all of a sudden you're faced with life again, aren't you? And so that can be one of the things that can trigger you. So perhaps having a routine when you first wake up. So perhaps to do something like a balancing breath, which is one of the things that I share. Perhaps to do some tapping can be helpful, just to slow everything down and speak kindly to yourself. Tell yourself, oh, okay, here we go again, another day, but it's all right. I'm just going to slow down. I'm just going to breathe, and I'm doing the best that I can. And it's okay. It's just that pesky cortisol in my system. Just going to slow it all down, and that hopefully can get you back on track again, just to use some of the techniques that I talk about. But hopefully, I hope that helps you. Oh, that was an interesting one. You were talking about you used to bite your nails, and that you started having your nails done so you don't bite your nails anymore. Well, I did exactly the same. I used to bite my nails, and then I started a job years ago, when I was in my early 20s, and I worked in casinos, and you had to have your hands inspected because you were dealing like roulette and cards and everything, and so you had to have nice nails. I was like desperately trying to stop biting my nails, and so now I treat myself to having my nails done. It's one of my things. So I'm interested that you have that too. Let's have a look. Just having a look through these questions. Yeah, so that's a good one. So K181020 Oh yes, Jasmine's right. Be careful with ice because it can stick to your skin. You're better to probably wrap ice in a tea towel or something, not have it directly onto your skin. You're absolutely right. Health and safety monitor, Jasmine. Thank you. So K181020, can I have anxiety even if I've never experienced a panic attack before? So yes, absolutely. Yes, you can. And many people who have anxiety will never experience a panic attack at all. And there'll be some people who will experience a panic attack but wouldn't consider themselves to be an anxious person. I've had a panic attack once in my life, and I didn't know it was a panic attack, and I wouldn't consider myself to be a sort of chronically anxious person. I have my moments when stuff is happening that I feel anxious about. But yeah, so if you're anxious, what happens when you have a panic attack is that something triggers you to a heightened state of anxiety. And so if you're sort of going through and you are really anxious and you're on like a high level of anxiety, but you don't get that spike, that's okay. We all do our anxiety differently. That's the thing. Anxiety is a protective behaviour. It is there, and it is created by our nervous system in an amazing way. When you think about it, anxiety is horrible, isn't it? I know that, but it's also genius because it helps us to be aware of the danger around us, and it helps us to anticipate potential danger and protect ourselves from it. It's just that when we're getting triggered every day by normal stuff, it's just horrible and exhausting. So yeah, in answer to your question, yes, you can have anxiety and not ever have panic attacks. So I saw, okay. Oh, floating. I see someone there talking about floating. I've never done that, but I've always quite fancied it. Okay, now there's so many really interesting questions, and I want to answer them all. There was one about someone. Okay, I'll just have to find that one in a minute. How to know when you should find a different therapist. That's from Megan Evans, 078. Okay, so the relationship with the therapist and the client is so important, and there has to be rapport with you. Now, that's not to say that sometimes the therapy sessions can be they can be challenging and they can be difficult and there can be tears and so on, but you need to feel totally supported by your therapist. You need to be able to trust your therapist, and you need to be able to make progress with your therapist. So you need to really have a plan and know where you're heading for and what your therapist's plan is, and you need to be able to talk to them. So if you feel that things are not quite right, that you're not progressing, you're not noticing change in the way that you want change to happen, then talk to your therapist about it. It's really important. And if you can't talk to your therapist about that, then it's one of the things that the therapist should always set up when you start, is to say, if at any point you feel like maybe this isn't working for you or you're worried, then it's really important we have that conversation. And it's okay. You will never hurt a therapist's feelings by saying, I'm not sure if this is working. What they should do is be just really grateful that you've raised that issue, and talk through it with you. Maybe say, put your mind at ease and say, well, actually, this is what the plan is, and this is what I'm heading for. Is that okay with you? Are you happy with that? That sort of thing. And if you're not, then perhaps then the conversation can go in a different direction. Maybe about thinking, okay, let's look at ending this, and maybe I can help you find someone else. Give you some advice with that. So that's what I would advise with a therapist. Let's have a look. Okay. Gosh. So any tips on managing mental health whilst dealing with pain, endometriosis flare-up right now? Oh, gosh, I do feel for you. That's living with illnesses. Okay, so that's a really good question. And for those of you that don't know what endometriosis is, it's when, forgive me if I don't get this completely right. I had endometriosis before I had my children. What it is it's when the lining of the womb, the tissue that is in your womb, and should be just in your womb, that the fetus will attach to, when that material is outside of your womb, so it can be around your ovaries, your fallopian tubes, it can be elsewhere in your sort of abdomen, and it can be very, very painful. It can cause you issues with fertility, and I think that's about as far as my knowledge goes, so please forgive me, but it can be massively painful. So I think working with your medical team, if you've been diagnosed with endometriosis, then you will have worked with a medical team. And so working with them as best you can, saying, you know, what can I do about pain relief with this? A lot of the techniques that I use, that I share, can be very helpful with pain. With chronic pain, there is usually, if not always, a connection between chronic pain and emotional pain, and a lot of people who have chronic pain will find that when life is really difficult, then the pain gets worse. So if you're able to use techniques such as the breath techniques I share, such as the relaxation techniques, the visualization techniques, that can be really helpful. It's worth going to see a pain specialist. I know I've mentioned this lady before. I have a colleague and a friend her name is Sharon Goldbear. If you would like me to share that in a separate post, or anywhere else, if you're interested, you can always email me. But her name is Sharon, Sheren Goldbear, which is Gaulbert, and she's a therapist that specialises in chronic pain, and she has a series of free emails. If you go to her website, which I think is called The Ultimate You, which sounds a bit like you're going to become a superhero, but it's you sign up, she won't spam you. It's an email a day which talks about chronic pain, how it works, and what you can do to help yourself. And then she also you can have a free session just discussing with her, if you were thinking of maybe working with her. And of course there are there are other therapists that specialise in pain. I hope that helps a little bit, and I hope that this passes for you quickly. I'm sorry to hear that you're suffering from that. So let's have a look. Just going have a look through to see if there's any more. I'm so sorry. I see an interesting comment and I think, I must answer that, and then it goes. So the Claire Mina White. How to stop feeling guilty and comparing yourself to others, and if you want different things to them. So that's that feeling of guilt and comparing ourselves to other people. I think it's a human thing, isn't it, that we tend to compare ourselves to other people, and it doesn't really achieve anything, because at the end of the day there will always be people who are better than us at certain things. There'll be people who are worse than us. There will be people who look differently to us physically, who are got more abilities in various areas. So, I think for me, what I've discovered over time is that what really matters is getting to a stage where we're comfortable with ourselves, and then we don't really have the need to compare. We don't say, they're better than me and they're worse than me. It's about, I am who I am, and I come from a place of honesty, of integrity, of kindness. And I think if we could all do that, if we were just in that place, it would help so much. So it's worth working on that. It's about being in the moment and catching yourself, because if you've been through trauma where you're made to feel like you're less than, then it's understandable, isn't it, that you're looking for a way to feel better than you do. And so I think it's for all of us a lifelong journey to begin to feel confident, to have self-esteem. And I mean, I always think cognitive hypnotherapy can really help with that, because we do a lot of work on limiting beliefs. You know, if you have beliefs, you have a belief system that I'm not good enough, that I'm not, I don't know, I'm not clever enough, or I'm not beautiful enough, or whatever it is. All of those things are just beliefs. They're generalizations born of your experience, and they're not necessarily true, you know. So if you can work with a therapist, that can be really helpful to begin to realise, actually, I am good enough. I am a good, kind person. What does the world want from me? You know, beauty is only skin deep. It's, you know, people say, oh, you know, they compare themselves. Oh, I haven't got this figure, or I don't look like that. But we can't change that, really. You know, we can be fit and we can be healthy. What really matters is who we are inside. I hope that helps. I'm not sure if that does help, but I hope it does. It's that sense of guilt is difficult, isn't it? Difficult to deal with, the sense of guilt. And the guilt is much more about you feeling bad about yourself and not feeling good enough. And so if you can work on that, that perhaps can be helpful. Let's have a look. Let me have a look. So Amy England 2 says, any advice on anxiety tics? So that's a really good one. I had someone the other day was talking about this, and what happens when you're anxious is that your nervous system senses that there's danger, either here and now, or you're anticipating danger, or you're looking at the past and regretting stuff, and so it triggers the fight or flight response. You get a huge release of adrenaline and cortisol, and your whole body goes into survival mode. And so that can be your heart racing, your breathing changing, but your muscles get really tense because you're ready to either run away and escape danger, or you're ready to fight your way out of it. And so the blood flow tends to be diverted towards your big muscles for that purpose. And so people can start to have, over a long time, tics. So you can have muscle tics, especially perhaps when you go to bed and everything starts to relax, and then your muscles are twitching because they're finally being allowed to let go. And so sometimes people wake up in the night with muscle twitches. And what we can do about that is that what we do is we create it's about looking at it as a journey, so that it's not like, oh, if I do this for 5 minutes then I'll feel all right. It's much more about, what is my lifestyle like? How do I want to live my life? And so it's about slowing things down, being kind to yourself, doing stuff that helps you to connect to the world, to connect to other human beings with whom you feel safe, to connect to nature, to connect to the animals that you love, connect to learning and exercise, to creativity, connecting to stuff every day that gives you an oasis every day that you can really look forward to, and you can enjoy being in that oasis of doing whatever it is that you love to do. And then you can look back at it and think, oh, that was so lovely, I really enjoyed it. And in each of those 3 moments, you're getting the release of the hormones that tell your nervous system that you're safe. So you're getting dopamine, you're getting endorphins, you're getting oxytocin, you're getting serotonin. All of those hormones tell your nervous system, oh, it's okay, stand down, all is well. So, and again, all of the techniques that I share can help with that. So I hope that helps a bit. You can also get tics which are coping tics, and children get this. Children around the age of 8-ish can begin to see this, that they'll get like they might start tapping, so they might be doing like patterns with their tapping like this, or like 1, like this kind of thing, tapping things. They can be doing sort of involuntary movements, or like holding your shoulder up like this is a sort of a protective behaviour. And it's okay. It's about those protective behaviours are there for a reason. That your nervous system is trying to keep you in, keep you protected, give you order and control. Like a lot of the tapping can be about, this keeps me safe. If I do this, it keeps me safe. So what we can do is, again, use the techniques that I share. EFT, the tapping techniques, can be really helpful with these, because it's not only a physical thing that you're doing, it allows your muscles to relax, it helps your brain to process what's going on, and it also works on the acupuncture meridians, the acupuncture pressure points. So that's worth looking at on my resources on my page. I hope that helps. Thank you for asking that. That's a good question. This is a good one as well. So, F. Cami, do you believe in meditation? Yes, I do. Yeah, absolutely. It's not for everyone. It's one of these things that, I think there's perhaps a misunderstanding about meditation, that you have to be, sat in the lotus position for 3 hours going, and you have to empty your mind. And it's not that at all. A meditation can be anything. It can be a minute of meditation. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's at that practice of just taking time for yourself. A guided meditation can be really helpful. There's a guy called Jeff Warren, who I love, and he talks about, really it's about training your mind so that when your mind does go off, which it will do, it comes back. You can go, oh, it's gone, I'm going to bring it back. And he talks about having what he calls a home base. So either your breath, so concentrate on your breath, or concentrate on the feeling of, like if you're sitting on the ground on a cushion or in a chair, like your back or your bum on wherever it is, so that you're just concentrating on that and just being aware of it. And then you'll find yourself thinking about going to Tesco's and what you're going to have for tea. And then when you notice that, just bring it back. But that sense of being at one with yourself, of being aware of yourself physically and mentally, can be so calming. And again, you get the release of the hormones that make you feel safe. So I think it's definitely worth experimenting with. Again, it's not for everyone. And if you try it and you don't like it, that's okay. It doesn't matter. You might try it again at another time. I go through stages of meditating and not meditating. At the moment, I'm in a not meditating stage, but let's have a go. Let's have a look. Oh, so I've seen a few of these. So how do you stop pulling hair? So L Makeup 2 asks this, and I Jasmine says my health and safety certificate's coming in handy. Yes. So yes, that's such a good question about pulling hair. And so this again can be a coping technique. I have to say, I've never actually worked with someone. I think it's called trichotillomania. I might be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But it's a coping technique, and it's something that you can be doing unconsciously. So just pulling, and it can be hair from anywhere. Your head, your eyebrows, your eyelashes. And again, it's a coping technique, a protective behaviour. And the great thing about behaviour is that behaviour can be changed. And it's a lot of the time it's about control. It's about the sensation of feeling in control of a moment. And a lot of the time it's not necessarily a conscious thing that you're doing. And so I think that there's lots of stuff you can use to help you feel calmer, because the reason that you're wanting to feel in control is because you're feeling anxious and your nervous system believes that there's danger and that there's threat around you. Oh gosh, thank you so much. Thank you for, that's lovely. I didn't see Carmen. Thank you so much for sending me those lovely flowers. You're very kind. I appreciate that. Oh gosh, and there's one more. I really appreciate that. Be rate. Oh, you're very, very generous and lovely. Thank you. oh gosh, what was I saying? Completely threw me, seeing all these lovely kindnesses. Yeah, so it's an unconscious thing, and it's trying to protect you. But because it's unconscious, you can find yourself having been doing it. You're like, oh no, I've done it again. And of course, especially if you're doing it in a place where it can be very visible, it can be upsetting and distressing that you're pulling hair out. So I would say it can be really helpful to go and see a therapist about it. Start off by going to see your GP and see if they have any suggestions for a therapist that might be able to help you. But also cognitive hypnotherapy, QCH, which is what I do, can be very helpful about this, because you can break the pattern. You're stuck in that loop. It's a closed loop of a behaviour which needs to be interrupted. So it's about a pattern interrupt. It's about self-care. It's about bringing the levels of stress and anxiety down so that you don't need to self-soothe, because a lot of the time it's very much about self-soothing, being in control, helping yourself. So if you can find a different way of helping yourself, it's like with self-harm, and I suppose in a way it is a form of self-harm, but with self-harm, when we can't cope with emotions, when emotions are so difficult to deal with, then our nervous system will do its best to find a way to somehow release the emotions that we're going through. And this is another one of those things. It's a self-soothing thing, but I suppose it can also lead on to further anxiety, because if you're anxious and going, oh God, I'm pulling all my hair out, I feel like I'm going to be judged, then that can lead on to more anxiety. So it's important that you do go and get some help and get someone that you can really trust and feel comfortable with. So I do hope that I hope that's helpful, and I hope that you can get the help that you need. Darcy 110312 says, I have a constant knot in my stomach from the minute I wake up. It's just awful. Gosh, I'm sorry that you feel like that, Darcy. It's with anxiety, a lot of it can be in our gut. We hold our stomach muscles really tight. They say, don't they, that our gut is our second brain. So it's a huge mind-body connection a lot of the time. A lot of people think that anxiety is all in the head, and it's not at all. It's a massively physical experience that people go through. And when we're in fight or flight, when we're suffering from anxiety, what happens is, as I was saying a bit earlier, everything starts to shut down is the wrong word. The flow of blood is diverted, because what we want the parts of our body that are really important to survive to be the ones, like, and by survival I mean to escape or to fight, and so with our tummy, a lot of the time our digestion can slow or shut down for periods of time. Not completely shut down, obviously everything still keeps going, but we can get the release of adrenaline. We get that spurt that absolutely can give you stomach ache. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. I know the times when I've been anxious, like particularly over my children, it's a pain, a physical pain. And the things that can get rid of it are the environment, the thing that you're anxious about disappearing. But if you're in chronic anxiety, so you're in a situation where it's ongoing, and you're being triggered all the time, then that's not so easy. So it's about letting your nervous system know that you are here, you are now, you are safe, and that's done by the physical techniques that we talk about, but also by reframing the stuff that's happened in the past that triggers you into anxiety. So I hope that helps a little. Okay, let's have a little look. Okay, so Julia Catherine's Stucky, do you have any advice to combat agoraphobia? I'm 4 years into my battle. And Strawberry says, I'm agoraphobic too, been struggling since I was very young. And oh, Alicia, hello, Alicia. Gosh, so I'm going to talk about agoraphobia, but Alicia, welcome. And I'm really, so you see what I mean? So Alicia has just commented to Darcy and to say, you know, that she has a similar symptom to you. That's what I love about this community, is that, you know, you're all here and you're realising you're not alone, that there are people here who are experiencing just what you're experiencing. And it's really hard, but it's not something that has to go on forever. And I think one of the things that helps is when you know you're not alone, and when you know that something can be done to help yourself, and that there are people out there who can help you professionally, then that can be really reassuring. So let me talk about agoraphobia just for a little bit. So agoraphobia is it's a fear. I think a lot of people think that it means that you have a fear of everything, that you can't go out. What it actually means is fear of the marketplace, and it can start off quite small. Just going to have a drink, excuse me a second. Oh, it's lovely. It can start off quite small and then it can build and build. So I think with anxiety, what happens is that we begin to see the world around us as quite a dangerous place, and we know where our triggers are. So whether that's social anxiety, whether that's generalised anxiety disorder, we can begin to realise this place is not a safe place, this place is not a safe place. And we get to the stage where the only safe place is our home or our bedroom within our home. And so I think it's really important. I think it is really helpful to speak to someone about this. Don't struggle alone with this, because if you talk to a therapist, and I do understand, I know I keep saying going to see a therapist, I do understand that it's really difficult to see a therapist, and I also know it's blinking expensive to see a therapist. So it can be helpful perhaps to look at the charities that are connected with what's going on for you, whatever it is, whether it's agoraphobia, whether it's OCD, whether it's anxiety, to talk to them, because they all have free help and resources, and also helplines where people can give you really good advice. But if you can get to see a therapist, then they can really help with this, because they can help you go back and discover what is the thing that started this. And it will be a traumatic event that started the anxiety, and the anxiety grew and the fear grew, so that you are in a place now where you can't go out, and that your safe space is getting smaller and smaller. And it's like the more you're in your safe space, the more the outside world seems a difficult place to be. And so you can help yourself to a certain extent by use the techniques that I share, the breath techniques, the physical coping techniques, but also the way of life, the beginning to reach out and connect to the different areas that I talk about, to begin to be kind to yourself and go, okay, this is a thing that is happening to me at the moment. This is a behaviour that my nervous system has put in place because it believes that I'm in danger. And that's okay, and I'm really grateful to my nervous system, but it's working at the moment on something that is not actually true, because most of the time you are not actually in danger. I know there was a lady, I spoke about it another time, where a colleague of mine had worked with someone who actually had an abusive partner, and it totally made sense that their safe space was just their room that they had, like, because they'd done it amazingly in that they had said that they wanted the relationship to end, but the partner wasn't leaving. So although they didn't communicate with the partner anymore, the partner was still in the residence. And so you think about it, you know, your bedroom is your safe space, and there's danger out there. There was real danger out there for them. And so the therapist helped them to find a way of getting that sorted. And then once he was gone, her her safe space could grow and extend, so that, you know, she was okay to go now into her kitchen or into her lounge because he wasn't there anymore. And that can be the same with any sort of agoraphobia. It's those small steps of teaching your nervous system it's okay to go here, it's okay to go there, and just to spend a little bit of time and then come back, a little bit of time and come back. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps a little bit. Don't despair. You're not alone. You can see from this page and from this live that there are lots of people out there and with us today who are suffering in the same way that you are. Not exactly the same, because we're all different, but take heart from that, and there, you know, you can get help. So it's well worth reaching out for that help. So, oh blimey, that's flown by. It's 10 to 6. So we've only got 10 minutes left. Oh, Hannah, hello. Hannah Thomas, it's nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Yes, Lynn is right. Thank you for joining. So, and oh yes, this is just an add-on. The difference between agoraphobia and anxiety. So a phobia is a fear, it's an irrational fear, but actually agoraphobia is, so I would say, so you can have anxiety and not have agoraphobia. So you can be really anxious but still go about your daily life. If you have agoraphobia, I would say you have anxiety as well. So agoraphobia is almost like a subset of anxiety. Does that make sense? So you can be anxious and still lead your daily life and go out and about. But if you have agoraphobia, your world gets smaller and smaller, and you get to the stage where you just feel it's impossible to go out and about, and you feel very anxious about that. So I hope that explains a little bit. Yes, so sorry, Hannah and Lynn, thank you for reminding me. So my next live, what have I done with my diary? So my next live will be, what day is it today? Monday. So my next live will be Friday, and it will be 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's Friday the 22nd. I do it every Friday and Monday. I do it 10 o'clock in the morning on Fridays and 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Mondays. I try and keep to those times as best I can, because that way the 5 o'clock one, people who are joining us from America and Canada and from the sort of the west of the world can join in. And then if I do it on a morning, I'm hoping like at 10 o'clock in UK time, then that means that people in Asia and Australia and New Zealand and the East can join. So yes, and I will post it either today or tomorrow. I'll put the new link up. So if you want to, you can always register, or you can set a reminder for yourself. So next Friday at 10. Thank you. Thank you for asking. So let's have a look. Any more? I'll see if I can answer a couple more questions. If you've not seen all of the live, then I will upload it to my YouTube, and you can get to that through my link in my profile. Let's have a look. Oh, Strawberry, thank you. This has helped me so much. Thank you so much. I'm really glad, and hopefully is you know, lots of other people have been commenting to you and they've helped. So it's a team effort, isn't it? Yes, and it's UK time, all of these. So 10 o'clock Fridays UK time, and 5 p.m. UK time on Mondays. Sorry, Kate Kane, yeah, that's the time. So British Standard Time. Okay, let's have a little look. Last questions that I can answer. Jasmine, don't worry if you're gonna miss them. That's okay. That's live. Have a look at them on my YouTube. But I mean, obviously, I really appreciate you moderating, and you know, you can only do what you can do. So Georgiana Banana, I love your name. Thank you for being such an angel in a world that can be a bit dark sometimes. Oh, bless you. Do you know, it can be really hard, can't it? And I really appreciate you saying that, because I do try I try my hardest. I know my limits. There's stuff that I can't deal with. I don't have the training to deal with, but I'll do my best with the stuff that I do work with and that I am trained for. So I really appreciate you saying that. And you're very welcome here. Do come again. Let's have a look. Snorts too, Caroline. You forgot I was live. Ooh! Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, Jewel Star. I've struggled with panic attacks. They're the worst. My hands lock up on me. Crappy feeling. I totally know what you're talking about there. When I had my panic attack, I thought I was dying. I didn't know what was happening, and my hands went like this. They were literally like that, paralysed, and I thought, my God, what on earth is happening to me? And I went to the emergency department at the hospital, and they said it's okay, it's because your breathing's changed. So it was either over breathing or under breathing. I can't remember which one it was, but if your breathing changes and you're either getting too much oxygen or not enough oxygen in your body, then what happens is you can get pins and needles in your hands and feet, and also for whatever reason you can make your hands just become paralyzed. Don't worry if that happens to you. It will pass. It's all to do with the release of adrenaline, the change in your breathing, and what can help you is just remember long, slow out breath. So just breathe out, push out with your tummy muscles, and then a normal in breath. Pause, long, slow out breath, push out with your tummy muscles, pause, in breath, and just slow everything down. If you change your vision as well, just sit yourself down and just do vision that is quite unfocused. That also sends the message through your optic nerve that you're safe, and that can be really helpful. So I hope that helps. Let's have a look. Oh gosh. Do you know what? So Georgiana Banana answered to, I think it was to Anna Cottage. My boyfriend has agoraphobia. How can I help him? He can't find a job with his problem. And I'm thinking that Georgiana Banana has answered your question. And so you're absolutely right. You know, it's so hard, isn't it? It makes me so angry that people are really struggling with their mental health issues and they can't get the help that they need. And it means that, you know, your boyfriend can't work because he's got agoraphobia, and then that makes him feel worse, and then that makes his nervous system think that there's danger out there, and so then it just is a horrible circle that goes round and around. And there's so much that you can do, and he's so lucky to have you, and you're here finding out about anxiety, finding out about agoraphobia. I do plan on doing a specific a specific video about agoraphobia, and I might have to make it a sort of part 1, part 2 one, but I will do that. So to have that sense of at least lowering, if you're going to work on yourself, to lower your sense of anxiety, all the things that I've talked about before in this live, and which are all over all of my videos. If you look at the categories, so info, techniques, breath, those can be really helpful. So get him to have a look at those, and begin to create a lifestyle where there's lots of self-care, lots of self-compassion and kindness. And it takes time, but actually you can begin to see the difference over time. It may well be that that's all he needs, but also it may well be that he does need to go and see someone. And I always say, look at the therapist finder. If you want to get in touch with me, I can help you find someone. I've got a bit of a waiting list at the moment, so if you want to see someone straight away, then I can always recommend people for you. The QCHPA Therapist Finder is a good place to look. The Counselling Directory is a good place to look. The BOCP Directory is a good place to look. There's all sorts of therapists out there who can help with this issue. So it's, you get to a place where he can go outside the house, he can find work, and do something that can confirm and reaffirm to him that he is a person he's okay, that he's good enough, So I'm glad he has you. Just lots of love and support, but also look after you, because it's hard when you're supporting someone who's going through difficult times. Oh my goodness, it's 6 o'clock. Okay. So I'm going to do... Paula, it's really nice to see you, Paula Roberts. Lovely. It's lovely, lovely, lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to have to wrap this up because I've done my hour. I can see Michelle Kitch has gone, OMG, same, to Sumaya. I didn't see what that was about. And Sumaya said, I need help with managing my panic attack. No one takes me seriously. And Michelle said, I find people don't understand my anxiety. That's hard for me because I don't feel heard. Do I feel for you both. It's really awful, isn't it? I think the number of times that, sometimes people are unkind on these lives, and that's why I have my lovely moderators. I have Lynn 250, I have Jasmine Lake, I have Vicky Hodson, I have Vicky Handlebars, I have San Shin, who all give up their time to keep this a safe space, because sometimes people are like, blah, blah, just unkind stuff. Those people have clearly never suffered from anxiety, have never had a panic attack, and they don't realise that no one on this live chooses to feel the way that you're choosing, do you? You're all doing the best you can to live your life in the best way you can manage, to find the way forward for yourselves. And it's so important to find, if you're going to work with a therapist, always talk before you hand over any money, before you talk to anyone. Speak to them on the phone. If they offer a free session to start with, have that session. Have them with loads of people because it's massively important that you find someone that you feel heard by, that you feel they see you, you feel that they absolutely get you and the anxiety or whatever it is that you're going through. And if they don't, run a mile from them. If they're just interested in getting you as their client and they want your money, then run a mile, because they're not the therapist that's going to do any good for you. So yeah, I'm really sorry that if you, Michelle, and you, Samaya, have had that experience, and anyone else on this live, because it's just not right, and you deserve better, you really do. So I'm going to have to wrap this up, I'm afraid, but I want to thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you being here. I'm so sorry if I have not answered your question. I try and answer as many as I possibly can, try and do different things, try and pick out things that perhaps I've not answered in the past before, and I always record these and put them on my YouTube. If you would like me to answer your question, you can feel free to email me and I will answer you. I don't like to just answer briefly. I want to answer in a way that's helpful and as full as I can possibly do, but I am aware that I also talk a bit much. Talk to my husband, he has to live with me. So yeah, the next live will be next Friday, this Friday coming, the 22nd. It will be 10 o'clock in the morning UK time. So I hope that you can join me there. I will post it either later on today or tomorrow, so that on my profile and on all the posts that I do coming up. There'll be a little reminder which you can click on to remind yourself to register for it if you want to. You don't have to. And yeah, it would be lovely to have you here. This is such a lovely community, and I'm so grateful that you all come here and that you come along and, you know, comment on my videos. I spend ages working my way through comments, trying to reply to everyone's comments. Yeah. So I hope you can have a lovely rest of your evening. Hopefully it's beginning to cool down a bit now if you're in the UK. Drink lots of water. If you've got a little spray bottle, spray yourself. Have a fan, cold water on your pulse points, ice, but not ice on the skin, as Jasmine said. Be aware of health and safety. You might get an ice burn, so wrap it in a tea towel or something. Yeah, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. And yeah, do come again. It will be lovely to see you. I'm just going to have a little scroll through. I'm not going to go immediately, but I'm going to scroll through because I just love seeing who's here, and I'm not going to answer any more questions, but I do appreciate your kindness being here and the support that you give to one another. So thank you. Cheerio. Have a lovely evening. Colleen, thank you. Samaya, Georgiana Banana. Thank you for being here. Yes, take care everyone. Look after yourselves. Strawberry, have a lovely evening you. Tracy, hi and bye. I'm sorry I missed you too. But thank you for being here. It's lovely to see you. Kickerboxer Glory. I love that name. Have a great day, evening. Stephanie Moore, do you have any depression lives? I don't really. I can answer questions on depression. I do work with people who have depression, so maybe next one, maybe I could think about that if people are interested. Lynn, it's my pleasure as always. Oh, Shannon, I'm so glad that you like watching my YouTube videos. That's really nice. Thank you for letting me know that, because I'm never too sure. I just started uploading them, and that's cool. Thank you for letting me know that. Oh, Alexandra, I'm so glad that you've been here on the live, and I hope you have a good evening too. And think about what I said, you know, you always do come again. You're always really welcome, and you'll get to know people, and hopefully people. And I had to say, I absolutely love your profile pic. I don't know if that's you or if that's a picture that you've chosen, but it's just beautiful. I love it. Calhona Hawks, thank you so much for existing. Well, thank you too. It's just lovely, isn't it, to have such lovely people on this live. Oh, thank you, Fern Rodders. I appreciate you saying that I've got a nice voice. It's you! Oh my God, Alexandra, you are just stunning. I love that. I love it. Wow, beautiful. Anna Cottage, take care, you too. Stephanie Moore, I've just started watching you and I'm hooked already. That is so cool. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so hot and sweaty. I need like, oh. Oh my goodness. Anna Cottage, I'm studying mental hygiene. I will have a master's degree. Well done you. Congratulations. That's amazing. So cool. Let's have a look. I don't use tan. This is me. I've just come back from holiday. I've been in Greece for 2 weeks and I sit in my garden a lot. Factor 30 though. So, okay, I need to go. I do. It's so nice. It's just water, just a little bottle that I had. But yeah, right, I'm going to go. But it's really lovely to have you here, and have a lovely evening. And you take care, everyone. I'll see you Friday if you fancy coming along. Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning UK time. Take care. Bye bye.